Hello and welcome to my 517 Follow Friday series. Today I am talking with Erica from Lansing Mom. Lansing Mom is a locally focused parenting resource for moms and families. The organization is very passionate about parenting and the community, and they really strive to connect other moms to relevant resources, local businesses, things going on in the community, and then obviously each other. So thank you, Erica, so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here today.
Great. So why don't you just start with telling me a little bit about yourself and how you got connected with Lansing Mom?
Absolutely. Lansing Mom actually launched in early 2020, kind of like late summer 2019 is when social kind of came to. Um, and I have two daughters. My oldest is 6 and my youngest is 4. And when I stepped into motherhood, it was like, wow.
Mhm.
I think as much as expecting a new mom's, we read all the books and we prepare during our pregnancy or when we're kind of taking that transition into wanting to start a family. It's like with anything, right? Like nothing can truly prepare you. And so I stepped into this, like I always knew I wanted to be a mom. And I had friends that had kids before me, and was just always surrounded by it with a big family. But me being the one now being the mom and being responsible, it was just a lot. I had like postpartum anxiety, and just all of these things. And I really struggled with getting really consumed with it, but still having my identity as a person. I think, mom guilt sets in and kind of
Yes.
takes over. And I really just still wanted to be myself. And when I tried to do that, I felt very guilty for doing that or for even wanting that. But ultimately, I made it a priority and really did some like soul searching, if you will,
Yep.
and really just made that a priority. And was really open with like my husband about just like needing that and like having his support through that. But part of that journey was finding my mom community. And so, I saw Lansing Mom and I was really drawn to them because I could tell that their focus was really on the mom. And that was the first time I really felt kind of like seen in a sense of like, wow, this is really, what I've been needing because it's so focused on the baby. And, when we talk about postpartum care, I think again, that was a struggle for me is like, it's so focused on the babies and they are a huge part of it, but we're really not talking about what postpartum care looks like for moms. And again, because it's not talked about, I think when we feel that, it's like, well, why am I concerned with that? But it truly is so important. So I came across Lansing Mom and they have a team of contributors and they were doing an open call. And so at the time, I had transitioned when I had my first daughter, I was a full-time working parent. And then after my second, I transitioned into staying at home. And I loved it, but honestly, I really struggled with having this gap on my resume, which makes me so sad. I know so many moms feel that way. But that was another reason why I was drawn to Lansing Mom is because I knew they had a social media presence and kind of that digital, and my background is advertising and marketing. So I was like, okay, this is kind of a win-win. Like I can get a mom
Yeah.
community, but also I can contribute and be able to put this on my resume. And so I joined the team as a contributor. But I was specifically really interested in like social media. So I reached out to Katie, who is one of the owners, and was like, I would really love to do more with this. And they were actually looking for someone to do their like content, like planning and social media management for their executive team. So I joined their executive team. And then it just worked out that both of the owners were in the Metro Detroit area. So Katie is originally was in the Okemos area for over 10 years, but then she moved out to the Metro Detroit area to be closer to family. And then Beth, who also owns Detroit Mom, she was looking to just sell some of her shares and she knew she couldn't be a part of it the way that she wanted to, and they needed someone in the Lansing area. And so they asked me to come on as an owner, and I was like, okay, here we go. So I have been an owner since I'm just over a year. So like the beginning of 2022. Well, gosh, I guess I'm almost at 2 years. But yeah, so we have a team of over say like close to 40 women if we look at our entire team throughout the Lansing area that either write for us or create content for social media or are our mom ambassadors.
I didn't realize the team was that big. I've seen the picture on the website and it looks like there's maybe 15 or so people. Um,
Mhm.
wow. So, I mean, it really is a huge collaborative effort with everyone. Other
Mhm.
than, well, how many people are on the executive team?
So on our executive, we have so we have three owners. We have our editor. We have our community engagement leader. So she oversees our Facebook groups and ambassadors. And then we have our team photographer. So there's about six of us on our executive team.
Okay. And is that like a full-time job for those six people?
So nope, it's
Okay.
but obviously full time for us as owners, and then our editor and our community engagement leader is part time.
Okay. That's still just so much work for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Well, and I will say too, so like I said, we launched in the beginning of the pandemic. So those first couple of years were really just about building community and
Right.
being this resource for moms and building that community through digital platforms. And now in 2023, we've really stepped into this space of taking those connection in person with events,
Hmm.
and just really doing all that we set out to do, but kind of hit the brakes,
Yeah.
obviously during the pandemic. But it really worked out in the end because, you know, we really, at the core of what we do, it's about community and serving the moms, like I had mentioned. So being able to build that on the front end and really make those connections, you know, meant a lot for us and really worked out to be a good starting point for us. Now we're just able to kind of like bring that all into like the bigger picture. So we are still in this area of growth. I wouldn't be surprised if we expand our executive team or if it does become more full time for those that we already have on our executive team. This has definitely been a year of growth for us. So,
It's exciting. It's
yeah.
really exciting. So I know you mentioned you got the website, and I know there's a lot of resources, a lot of information. There's the social platforms, and I'm trying to remember, are some of those like invite based, or are they just completely open to the public?
Yeah, so we have both. So in
Okay.
terms of social media, we have our own Facebook and Instagram, right? So that's like ran by us, that's resources that are shared by us. And then we have our Facebook groups. So
Okay.
these are private groups and we're very intentional of like these groups are a safe space for moms,
Right.
right? So we have our Lansing Mom community and conversation. So this is for moms to come to ask anything that they need, whether it's like where to find a dentist, to um, how do I handle the 9 month sleep regression, right? Like, really, just anything. It could be local, it could just be mom related. And then we have our preschool playdate group. And this is one where our mom ambassadors actually host playdate groups or yeah playdate meetups, and we have a couple of those a month. And then we have our mental health support group, and then our infertility and loss support group as well. So
Okay.
those are the four that we have right now. We have talked about expanding those as well, to really just be able that we're serving kind of the needs of the moms in our community.
Right. Are there any needs right now that you're seeing that you're like that you have a goal of trying to meet and expanding those groups?
Yeah, so actually, we've talked a lot about doing one for working moms.
Okay.
This is a really big one. So we actually have a new event that I'll talk more about, but is a space that we really stepped into. You know, for working moms, it's such a unique space
Yeah.
because obviously working looks different too, right? Whether you're full time, part time, or you're stepping into business ownership, you just kind of like have a side hustle, something you're passionate about, but you're like, how do I expand this? It can really look so different working in the home, out of the home. All of this is just a lot. And I think again, right, when we talk about motherhood, it's like everything, it's like this baseline of like, we just have motherhood that needs to be understood.
Yep.
And then you add things on top of that, like being a working parent, or even like our preschool play date. You know, I know our stay-at-home moms or even our working moms, it's like just having that space to meet up with other parents and kids their age and stuff like that. It's like, just that added layer we have of everything. So we're really just passionate about creating that space for moms, whatever it looks like, because those connections and that understanding are priceless.
They are. And I love that that was the example that you gave of a potential upcoming group, because I'm in that group now. And
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely take advantage of that as a resource. I've always been a working mom. I've always, well, not, I don't want to say always, but for the most part, I've worked full time um, through all of my pregnancies. Never really took a real long maternity leave. It was just I don't know, it was probably 12, 15 weeks or something, and always went back
Mm-hmm.
to work. I had law school on top of that. And then now I am a business owner. So
Mm-hmm.
it's rare to find people who are in the same situation that I'm in unless there's a way to connect me to them. I'm not going to just randomly
Mm-hmm.
run into them on the street. So I
Yeah.
love that that's on your radar. I do. Um, You've hinted at in-person events a little bit. You mentioned the play dates. Are there other in-person events that us moms can get out and enjoy?
Yeah, yeah. So we have so this year we have really stepped into with our partners doing in-person events. So a few that we've done, like we did one with Douglas J, and it was just like a fun treat yourself mom's night out of pampering. But it's fun because all of our events, you walk away learning something. So it's not, our Douglas J one, it wasn't just about treating yourself, which was amazing, but we got to learn along the way of like how to care for our skin, ask questions about our hair. So it's nice that when we do these, we always incorporate that kind of like education of peace. The connection in the community is amazing, but it's nice to be able to walk away with something as moms, right? As the decision makers, as
Yeah.
it's just nice to have this information. So we do stuff with our partners, and then we obviously have the preschool playdate meetups, and then we recently launched a program for working moms called Lansing Mom Connect. So
Okay.
this is an event that's hosted monthly, and it is basically like a networking event, but we say Lansing Mom style, if you will. So it's really about a night out of treating yourself. We always have shopping with local vendors, and it could be any kind of, we've done, bookstores, clothing, bath products, all sorts of things. So it's really just about a night out of treating yourself, but making those connections. And then we have an educational piece that we'll touch on every month. So this month it's on the 15th,
Okay.
and it's going to be at Nurture in Diamonddale, and
Oh, okay.
which is a new yoga studio. And Bree from Compassionately Bree, she's going to be leading us through how to like love ourselves during hard seasons, but it's about creating affirmation statements. So she's going to walk us through like how to create affirmation statements for ourselves in
Mhm.
whatever role we need to hear them in, right? Whether it's for, working or just being a mom, whatever that looks like. So we are super excited. Those have just filled our cups up so much. Like it just, and we really, really focus in on the connections. It's your connections for your business or whatever that looks like, but those connections just as a mom, and having
Right.
both of those are, so when you come to the event, it's such a fun time, but also you will see over and over again, we are constantly putting ways to make sure that you are making connections with people that
Mhm.
you met. So we have in person, like you can scan our board to link to everybody's Instagram to follow them, and then we send a follow up of like, here's to make sure that you're making those connections, because I know it can be super intimidating. Mom Friends is very intimidating, and we
Yeah.
fully recognize that at Lansing Mom. But we are really intentional about creating all of the things we can to really, because we know how important it is too. It's intimidating, but once you do it, you are just like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Yeah. I feel like you kind of answered the next question I was going to ask you, but I was just curious from your personal perspective, how you feel Lansing Mom is set apart from other community organizations like this. I guess maybe what makes you guys unique. And I feel like you kind of
Yeah.
touched on it, but I'll let you elaborate a little bit more.
Mm, yeah, so I would say the biggest thing is just we really focus on the moms. And also you will see, if you look at our stuff, really the mental health aspect as well. Um, we know that um, making these connections is us too. And so when you follow us, like we are very real and honest in the way that we show up, and our team does as well. And I know I kind of touched on it before. So our team, we have our writers that provide our website pieces, and our social team, they create content for like Instagram and Facebook. um, but that's also what makes us unique, is that our team, motherhood looks so different, right? And you're not going to relate to everybody. So by having this team of women who've all walked different journeys of motherhood, we always tell them when they come onto the team that it's about reaching that one mom, making that connection with that one mom is really what matters. And so I think like I said, just really focusing on the mom and also just making those connections is at the core of what we do. It's really about community in all aspects of connecting the mom, but also supporting these local businesses in Lansing and just lifting up the Lansing area.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to share today?
I think I've touched on everything.
Great. This was so informative. I always like learning more in depth about organizations like this because um, I mean, obviously, I want to take advantage of these types of organizations, but I think it really helps to hear more of a personal side of what motivates you guys and, what your goals are and what you're trying to focus on. And I think it just feels so much more real. And you're right, those mom friendships are really hard. And I think we come into it always thinking, we're going to be judged or people aren't going to understand us or nobody's experienced this before. And so just seeing the authenticity is huge. It really is. So thank you for
Thank
that.
you. Thank
And thank you
you.
for taking the time to talk with me today. I will share all of the contact information for Lansing Mom with the caption of the video, all of the social and the website. And if anybody's watching and they're interested in connecting with other moms, finding support in various areas of your life, or you just want to get out and make new friends, head on over to the website, check out the calendar, check out the groups that you can join. And then if anyone's interested in being featured on the Fellow Friday series, you can send me an email at Katrina@cornerstonelegalpllc.com. Thanks for watching.